The topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
Let's listen as Lorraine LaPointe, coach, therapist, educator, speaker, and founder of Head Heart Synergy, brings together another enlightened guest to inspire and motivate us to move forward, achieve our dreams and desires, so that we experience midlife awakening.
And I'm your host, Lorraine LaPointe. Today we'll enjoy another candid conversation that reveals how to bring back a sense of balance and how to find forward focus. Today, take just a few moments to join us as we explore the possibilities and the perspectives that provide us with greater inner peace, power, passion, and purpose. Because that's what I call living at the edge of fulfillment in a midlife awakening.
Well, hello, welcome. We know that the radio and the talk for TV signals go out into space, but if you live on planet Earth, which hopefully you do, it's highly likely that you've heard about COVID-19, unless you live in Iraq or under a rock or something, but you might not have heard about COVID-15. Well, that's the 15% of the average weight gained by many over the last few months, and it comes out to about 29 pounds. And this is a response to all that uncertainty, the stress, the worries that have been triggered over the past, few months. And 10% are actually reporting a gain of more than 50 pounds. So is there anyone out there who still thinks this pandemic is just about a virus? And in this episode of Edge of Fulfillment, we're speaking with a certified health and life coach who will share her expertise in finding ways to nourish ourselves and conquer our cravings without the need to turn directly to comfort food. And I want to thank you for joining us today, because today's episode is called The Non-Food Nourishment. And I'm really excited and can't wait to speak with her. And by the way, for those who I haven't met before, I'm the host, Lorraine LaPointe, and I'm super curious about how we can resolve cravings without turning to food or other types of overindulgences that, most of them cause health issues in order to satisfy our needs and desires. Because I do know that when we're driven to act compulsively, we make some really massive mistakes. And I'm sure our guests can give us some tips about the kinds of choices we can make instead. Good morning, Erica. It's so good to see you. And I'd love to hear about what you think about cravings and anything that you've noticed for yourselves over the last few months, changes in your wellness. Because this is one reason I do this show. I show compassionate, service-minded women like us how to transform their thoughts and welcome any men who are listening too. But transform their thoughts, their feelings, and beliefs so they can more easily shift mindset. Because the first step to transformation is reassessing our needs so that we know what we want and we need to feel fulfilled. And then to discover new and interesting ways to live as if we're awakening to our new possibilities that exist in the second part of our life. Because research proves as we shift our mindset, our thinking, we create the attitude and the mindset that helps to improve our well-being. That's why I reach out each week. And this is an interactive radio and talk for TV program. So today, whether you're here live or you've come across us later on, I invite you to please connect with us. Because each person that adds a comment, Head Heart Synergy, my company, will provide a day's fresh water to someone in the world who needs it most. So I want to thank Erica. You've already got the ball rolling there, Erica. So you've already helped someone today with access to fresh water. So I'm wondering who else will help them. Will you help them by adding your thoughts to the comments today so that I can donate more days of fresh water throughout the world? You know, your thoughts and your feelings and your questions are important. And our wonderful producer, who works really hard behind the scenes, is helping us to add the comments on screen. So you can simply add a hashtag and the word question, and help us shape the program into something most beneficial for you. And I want to say thanks, Roxy. And if you want to thank Roxy, that would also help us to spread the love of that fresh water around the world. So here's something else for you, though. Each week on The Edge of Fulfillment, we show up on the Head Heart Synergy Facebook business page. That's the fan page, or W4WN.com, which is the Women for Women Network Radio, and Talk for TV. And we run a contest for different amazing prizes. And this week, it's a fabulous effort. Yes, thanks, Erica. This week, we can win an amazing gift card by simply keeping track of the 5 special words that will be sprinkled throughout the show, and then add them into the comments when I mention that at the end. And you've already heard the first word, so jot this one down. It's the word nourish. So there's our first special word for the day. So I want to give you a little time to jot that down and to invite family and friends to join us as we take a little break. So stay tuned, and we will be right back here on Edge of Fulfillment.
Did you know video is the future on content? There are 3 good reasons why video is the future of content. Number 1, videos are often more engaging than simple pictures or music alone. Number 2, it's much easier to tell your story through video. Number 3, because we love to watch video, they go viral much faster. Hey, notice you're still watching right now. See how well it works. Next time we can play your video here instead. Ask me how. Shine online on Talk 4 TV and W4WN Radio.
Hey, are you looking for a brighter future? Wishing for greater calm, clarity, and confidence? What if you knew an inside job was the answer? Your mission: stop the inner burn, gain mental fitness so you get more out of life. Imagine in about 15 minutes a day for just 6 weeks. Come on, we'll show you how. Don't miss it. Just go to www.lorraine.gives/m-fitness and join us right now.
Hey, welcome back. You're on at the Edge of Fulfillment on W4WN, the Women for Women Network Radio, and Talk for TV. And our contest this week is for an amazing Amazon gift card. So you simply need to keep track of those 5 special words. And the first word we've already heard, it was nourish. So just listen for the other words as we continue our show. And let's welcome today's guest. By introduction, Krista Hinds is a certified health and life coach. She's also a #1 best-selling author and the creator of something called the Steps and Ladders Method. So I'd want to hear more about that. And I understand that's a play on the Snakes and Ladders game. I used to play that all the time when I was a kid. So Krista is committed to helping women entrepreneurs find the energy and inspiration to cut their cravings and to move towards a high level of wellness, just one step at a time. And Krista is an amazing human being. We're so honored to have you here. Welcome to the Edge of Fulfillment, Krista.
Hello, everybody. I'm honored to be here. Thank you for inviting me, Lorraine.
Oh, you are so welcome. And I said at the top of the show that I was out to get my second cup of coffee for the day because I accidentally hit the button twice this morning, so it made 2. And then I thought, oh no, the show is about cravings, conquering your cravings. And I do love the coffee, but I had water instead. So
That's a great switch.
And so I'm sure that we'll be talking some more about strategies that we can use. And I understand you've not always been working in the area of coaching to conquer cravings. And I'm wondering, is that something you'd like to share with us about?
Yes. So before I became a coach, I was working out in the business world, and happened to have a big upheaval in the company that I was working for. And they did a big, management switch, and they started rearranging all the employees. And I thought to myself, oh boy, this is just not who I want to be, where I want to be, and what I want to be doing. So I started doing research as to, what is it that I wanted to do? I knew I wanted to be in the health profession, but I didn't know what. So, I was looking at homeopathy, nutritionist. I was doing all of the research, and I came across health coaching, and it just spoke to me. All of the, just all the ways that you can help other people to help themselves. And so that's what really spoke to me. And of course, just with the transition, I've come to notice that the cravings are really where my specialty lies, because of how I've moved from having 3 very young babies all at the same time. I had children very close together. I put a lot of sugar in my coffee. I wasn't just drinking coffee. I was drinking 4 and 5 cups of coffee a day with 2 teaspoons of sugar in it, and not even realizing that it was increasing every day, because 3 coffees wasn't enough anymore. 4 coffees wasn't enough anymore. So I had to keep increasing, because my energy level would just dive after I would have that 4th cup of coffee. So I would need the other one. Plus, it kept the children away, right? So I had the hot coffee. It was, ooh, careful, mommy's got a hot coffee, So I was using it as a crutch as well. So there's lots at play when you have cravings.
That's fascinating, because a few years ago, I was exclusively drinking tea and thought I was doing such a great thing for myself. But I noticed the same thing. I was putting sugar in my tea. And I don't like super sweet tea, but when you had 6, 7, 8 cups of tea a day, that adds up.
Exactly. So taking stock where you are right now. So I'd love to know from your listeners, is there something that has that brought something up for you? Like, oh my gosh, I drink 3, 4 cups of or glasses of Coke a day, or, oh my gosh, I fill in the blank a day. How many of the things you're eating and drinking that you don't even realize you're doing, because you're doing it subconsciously.
Well, one of the things that I noticed the other day is I've been drinking a lot of lemon drink, and it's all real lemon, but I hadn't checked the label.
Oh, yes.
And I love it, but no wonder I love it. There's 30 grams of sugar per cup of this lemonade. It's like, that's as much as a Coke.
Yes, that's a very interesting insight that you had, because not many people do read the labels, because we don't want to know, right? It's like, this is so delicious, I don't want to know what's in it, because as soon as you know what's in it, then maybe you're going to have to adjust. And so there's a little bit of denial that happens there. So good for you, for taking a look at the label. There's a lot of sneaky sugars on the label, if you take a look.
Yeah, and Erica just mentioned that I think it was her daughter-in-law is like that with Pepsi, like and diet Pepsi, because they stick that little word diet. It makes it as if it's all okay, but sometimes the substitute sugars are even more addictive. I think.
And they can be damaging to your organs, some of them. So I would stay away from those, diet drinks if you can. Yeah.
Yeah. Good morning, John. Good to see you. Yeah. So what can we do instead? Like, today's show is called Non-Food Nourishment. So I'm one of the people who have definitely noticed that I'm growing.
Yeah. So Yeah, sorry to cut you off.
No, go right ahead. I'm
Okay.
curious.
So I'm obviously a proponent to eating well, and whatever that means for you. If you're on a paleo diet, a keto diet, if you're doing Atkins, there are so many resources out there and so many people telling you how to eat well. And if you are doing that and it's working for you, then continue to do that, because that is, you are walking towards wellness, and that's all we want. Just continue walking towards wellness. But if this isn't working for you, if you're jumping from one thing to the next, if you're going from keto, oh, that's not working for me, paleo, oh, that doesn't work for me, Atkins, oh, that's not working for me, I'm going to try something else. I'm going to try something else. I'm going to try another one. So what is happening there? It's not the food anymore. We have to take a step back from that and ask ourselves, what is it in my life that isn't being nourished right now? Because the cravings are only a messenger. They're trying to tell you something. They're tapping you on the shoulder and they're saying, pay attention to me. Something's not right. Something's out of balance. Pay attention to me. But because food is so easy to, it doesn't talk back. It doesn't give you guff, right? You go for a Pepsi and it's just there for you. It hits all the dopamine triggers, it gives you all the things that you need. And so you're just going to keep going back to that. And
it's convenient too.
It's obedient.
You just don't think about it. You just open the fridge and take one out. Away you go.
Right.
And I wonder if that's got anything to do with it as well. When you tend to drink these things on like a habitual basis, have you ever had a glass of something that you drink a lot of and don't even notice that you're drinking it? Like your mind doesn't even register that it's there. Like suddenly the glass, 1 minute the glass is full and the next minute the glass is empty.
Right. And what we can do by doing the non-food nourishment method is to squeeze out those things that we're not even realizing we're doing. So if it's a glass of Pepsi, for example, if you start to pay attention to the things that aren't being nourished in your life, those things fall away and they get replaced by water. And then you're drinking water without even realizing it, and the glass is empty. Whereas before it was like, oh, can I just get this glass of water in? Because I know, somebody's told you that I have to drink, fill in the blank glasses of water a day. So the way we do it is we try to increase that without it being a hardship. You don't want to white knuckle your way through these craving issues that you're having.
Yeah, one of the interesting things about water, I've never been able to drink water like out of the tap. It does something strange to my throat. But somebody introduced me to alkaline water, which is a slightly now higher pH, I think it is for alkaline. I don't know, I've got a bottle. Let me see. What does it say here? Yes, slightly higher pH.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and it goes down my throat very smoothly. It's enjoyable. I actually look forward to drinking alkaline water as opposed to, and then if someone hands me a glass that's full of water from the tap, my throat immediately constricts again. So I don't know what that's all about, but
wow,
there's a hint.
Yes. That's tap, tap, tap. Something's going on. And I love that you did something about it. Well done. Yeah, I'm going to have to look into that.
Yeah, I'd say, you find it in a different section of the grocery store, so you do have to go look for it, but it's
Perfect.
there. And you can actually get it attached to your tap too, but that's fairly expensive. But I'm interested to hear some other strategies for non-food nourishment, because from what I'm hearing you say, there's a very wide range of things that could be causing cravings.
Yes, absolutely. So sleep. If you don't get enough sleep at night, what's the first thing you reach for in the morning? for energy. You will reach for a coffee, and possibly you'll be putting sugar in that coffee. You'll be reaching for something that is easy to digest and absorb. So something like a carb will turn itself into sugar when you eat it. So maybe you're reaching for bagels or toast in the morning. You will reach for something sugary. Maybe it's donuts or cinnamon buns or a sugary cereal. So those are the things when you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, you haven't had enough sleep, you need to have that pick me up. You're automatically programmed to walk towards these types of food. And so you're setting yourself up in the morning for that roller coaster ride of a hit of sugar and then a crash. And then you're going to be looking for that again. So that's one way cravings can creep their way into your world, is by not getting enough sleep. So it's really important to, do those rituals at night before you go to bed so that you can promote a good sleep. And then when you wake up, you start your day more refreshed and with better energy.
I knew that sleep was important. I didn't realize that sleep could be a contributor to triggering food cravings.
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about, you mentioned the word substitution just now. What about, substituting one thing for another? Like you also mentioned the word keto, and keto is one of our special words of the day. So jot that one down. And so can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Substitutions,
and you also mentioned keto. So I'm trying to see if there's a link or a connection or.
So when I mentioned keto, I was just letting everybody know that if they're already doing a specific regimen already and they're having success with that, then continue to do that. But if you're doing keto or any of the other hundreds of diets that are out there and you're white knuckling your way through it, then there's something else that needs to be nourished in your life. It might be that the keto diet isn't for you and you need to switch it out and do something else. Interestingly enough, our bodies will tell us the food that it needs to perform optimally. We have our own laboratory inside our bodies. So if you're finding that, something, you're on a specific diet and you still have skin rashes, you're still not sleeping well, you have mucus in the back of your throat, your body is trying to tell you that there's something out of balance. And maybe there's something in your food that's contributing to that. So it will inform you that something is out of balance there. So that's why I mentioned the keto at the beginning.
Yeah, and I guess in my mind, keto is all about substitution. But perhaps I have.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Not aligned.
It's just a specific way of eating.
Okay.
And like I said, I don't tell people to change what they're doing, and I don't tell people to go on a specific diet. I use whatever they're working with now, and then we try to determine from there why they're having their cravings. So sleep, as I mentioned, is one of the top ones. Stress is another one of the ones that will push you towards a craving because
Say more about that.
Yeah. Okay.
Lots of people out there are stressed.
Yes.
And I agree with what Erica was saying. You have to work with the body, right?
Exactly.
So tell us more about
the stress. Right. Mm-hmm. So if you have a stressor in your day, one of the things you'll try to do is to escape. You want to escape the stressor. And as we mentioned earlier, right, food's not going to talk back to you. So a great way to avoid doing something you don't want to do is to go get something to eat. So that's the way a stress will push you towards that. Also, stress, the best reliever of stress is a dopamine hit. So
Hence
So
we're looking at our phones all the time or
exactly. Exactly. Right. No, absolutely. Because if you're working and you're stressed and you don't like that feeling that's coming up, what are you going to turn to? Your phone. Let's get a dopamine hit, right? Going to go to the fridge. Let's get a dopamine hit. And so we are programming ourselves to, as soon as that stressor comes up, we're like, association, stressor, dopamine hit. I'm going to go get something to eat. So it's really not our fault that we have these cravings. What we try to do is just try to figure out what the triggers are for you, because they're different for everybody, right? What is that stressor? So it's about right before you're about to get up out of your chair and go to your fridge. So you're working away, diligently doing your thing. Something pops up, either an email or something, you read it and you think to yourself, oh, I'm going to go to the fridge and get. So it's about noticing that awareness right away. Okay, what happened right before I was going to get up and go to the fridge? That's your trigger. Now we try to break that down a little bit and figure out what's going on in that.
I was just going to say, I've never gotten an email that stressed me out and then said, oh, I better drop and do 50. Push-ups.
Yes.
Never
I
happened.
love it. That's great, Lorraine. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh dear. Well, I think I'd like to take a little break at the moment and give our listeners a chance to think about what their stressors are and what their responses are. And let's talk some more about this, because this is fascinating. So we'll be right back after this short break.
Mental fitness, the missing X factor for enhancing performance, achievement, and success. Mental fitness empowers you with the magic of 3: stabilized mood, peace of mind, deeper relationships. Time to make it happen? Grow the self-command muscle. Intercept your self-defenses. Build your inner wisdom. In less than 15 minutes a day, gain the missing X factor. Let me show you how.
There comes a time we wonder, what's next? For women like us, as we stand at the edge of fulfillment, are you feeling unsettled, restless, not quite right? That's midlife awakening. Are you looking for fulfillment? Or to squeeze more juice out of life? Midlife awakening at the edge of fulfillment, don't miss it. We understand. By phone or laptop, wherever you are, come join us. Friday 10 a.m. Eastern Time, on Head Heart Synergy Facebook business page, or here, on the Women for Women Network Radio and Talk 4 TV.
Well, welcome back, viewers, listeners. We're here with Krista Hinds, and we are talking about non-food nourishment today. And for those of you who are keeping track of our special words, we have had a few already. And another one that I didn't announce yet that we've already talked about is the word sleep. So add that to your list. So let's continue our conversation, Krista. This is fascinating. So I wonder if do other things in your body play a role in cravings?
Absolutely.
Like, if you need vitamins or minerals, or if there's something missing, or can you tell us a little bit about that?
I'd love to. This is one of my favorite. It's such an easy thing to do, and it's free. And what I'm talking about is just eating slowly.
Oh, say
Because
more.
it doesn't matter what kind of diet you're on. It doesn't matter what kind of regimen you're doing. If you're not eating your food slowly and taking the time to appreciate the smells and the textures and the colors of your food and the place setting and your environment and the music, if you're not taking the time to appreciate all of those things, your body is not digesting your food properly, because the brain has to get involved with the digestion process. The digestion process actually starts in the brain before you even take one bite of food. So as I mentioned, all of those things that I just mentioned will trigger the brain to turn on and say, oh, okay, we're about to eat. And you'll notice you'll start to salivate. That salivation is the first process in digestion. So we have to start that process going so that we can properly digest our food, extract the vitamins and minerals that we need, get the nourishment that we need for our bodies so that we have the energy and the stamina to not want the cravings when they come.
Oh, interesting. Now, as a mindset fitness coach, I love what I'm hearing, because one of the ways that we can have mindset fitness and reduce those cravings, obviously, is to be present when we're eating, is what I heard you say.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, how often do we consume food and we just like vacuum it in? And if someone says, how did that taste? You kind of go, well, I can't really say.
Or what did you eat for lunch? I don't remember.
And even if you remember, what did it, what were the textures? What were the flavors? What was, give yourself the few seconds it takes to savor what you're eating. What I noticed when I was on WildFit, and John mentioned WildFit. So one of the things that I noticed when I was eating the WildFit way, which is the way that our bodies were designed thousands of years ago to eat, is the program. And I was taking more time to enjoy what I was eating and eating a lot less of it.
Yes, exactly. Because it takes you a little bit longer to get the food in, because you're eating so slowly that because your brain's engaged also. If your brain's not engaged, you can eat a full meal, get to the end of your meal, intellectually that you've had enough food, and your brain is still like, well, what? Huh? We haven't even eaten yet. I'm still hungry. But you're not hungry. It's not hunger that you've got going on. It's the brain never got, turned on to the fact that you are actually eating. So that's why when you pay attention, you slow down, you appreciate, you do it. You chew your food. That's another thing. You really have to chew to get the vitamins and minerals really extracted from the foods that we're eating. That way, when it gets into the gut and the digestion, the brain is in alignment now. You've got this communication going between the gut and the brain, and the gut will tell the brain will tell the gut, okay, we're done, we're full.
Yeah, I love what Erica mentioned before, and there's the tip. That's it, Erica. Cutting things into small pieces on your plate. Number one, what that does is it gives you a chance to do exactly what you're suggesting, which is look at your food and become ready to eat it. I mean, we cut up food for our little ones, right? We think it's because they can't handle big bites, and that's true. But it's a really good habit, I think, for us too. And it's something that I haven't done for a while, and I'm going to start doing again. So thank you. Thank you to Erica, and thank you to you for bringing that to my attention. One of the benefits of giving thanks for your food. Yes. The gratitude for food as you're cutting it up, as your body is getting ready, as you're salivating. Like I'm thinking about lunch right now and I'm salivating.
Yes, well, exactly. So now the process has started. Like pick up your plate and really, smell your food before you start eating it. Look at the colors. Eat the rainbow. That's another tip. Yeah. Look at the colors on your plate and really appreciate, wow, look at that tomato. It's so glorious in its redness and shape and, all of those things.
Yeah, my mother used to say, all these starving children in the world. But I think she was she meant well,
Yeah.
but she missed the point for me, or I missed the point for me, which was food is a gift.
Yes.
It's a gift that we can participate in multiple times a day if we choose to.
Yes.
And if we're just snarfing it back or watching TV and eating, so you don't even notice that you're eating, it's no longer a gift.
That's well put. Exactly. Yeah. So when you eat, shut everything down, turn the TV off, turn your devices off. Soft music is nice, or any type of music that you like. But, put the newspaper away, put the news away, because these stressful events while we're eating will shut our digestion down. It will shut our digestion down because our blood is needed elsewhere.
Yeah, go into fight and flight. Like if you're watching disasters on the news, and let's face it, the news isn't the news if it doesn't present disasters of some sort.
That's right.
People don't tune in to watch oh, look at the birds. We've got more birds. They tune in to watch disasters. So your body doesn't know the difference. It goes into fight and flight. I love it, John says, put your technology away. As charged, put your phone away, put your iPad away. You don't need it at the table.
No.
And like I said, I'm guilty of that sometimes. But there were a couple of other tips too that I missed. If Roxy, if you can throw those back up from Erica, there was something that Erica mentioned. Judge your day by the colors of the food you choose. That's that rainbow, I think, that you were mentioning.
Right.
Krista.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Judge your day. I love that. Yes. You will have a more rainbow filled day if you fill yourself with the colors of the rainbow.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Love it, Erica. Thank you.
Yeah. Erica's always got some great ideas and input too. She was a guest on former episode. So it's wonderful to have all of these suggestions of how we can reduce our cravings, and noticing that we have cravings, I think he said was a really important first step.
Yes, it's the awareness. It's just that simple. It's taking the time to, like you said, be present in your moment. Because if you're worried about what's going on in your past, if you're troubled about what happened yesterday and you're redoing those tapes in your head while you're eating, or if you're, trying to think about what's coming next, the future events that are coming up, and you're going around what to do next, then you're not present and you're not in the moment to deal with and be aware of those things that are coming up for you.
Yeah, it's a really good point. And it's sneaky because if we're not paying attention to our attention, it gets diverted very quickly by those saboteurs in our heads that, awful eyes everything and, say such nasty, horrible things to us, about what we can't do and what we can do and what we must do or should do. And yeah.
Oh, you bring up a really good point, Lorraine, because that's the other thing after you eat a really beautiful meal is to celebrate that. What we typically do is say, yeah, but I had butter on my broccoli. I shouldn't have, we go into that, all of the things we should be doing better, as opposed to saying, I had broccoli with my meal. I ate something green. I ate a balanced meal. I paid attention. It took me 20 minutes to eat that beautiful meal. So focusing on all of the things that we do well and celebrating those things will help you to do that again the next time.
There's that dopamine hit, right? You can get it through celebrating yourself. That's a brilliant suggestion. I love that.
Yeah.
You don't have
and
to
free.
Yes, it doesn't cost a thing. And many of your suggestions are just that. They're free.
Yeah.
You know, John says, my dad will take the plate away when you're not finished. Yeah, my father was known as the Little White Tornado. He worked on the Metro ambulances for years. He was a supervisor, and he was used to like hearing the bells go off, and food was very important to him. So he ate, he was the fastest eater I have ever seen in my whole life. And then he would get up when everybody else was eating and start to clean up. And I like to save my best pieces of food for last. That's just the way I eat. And he used to come along and take my plate.
Oh no. Oh no. So that will be a behavior programming that you will carry forward, right? To eat quickly so that you don't get your plate taken away before your best bits.
Well, eat quickly and and guard your plate with your arm. It's funny because John often says to me, "You're guarding again."
Absolutely. And why wouldn't you, right? Yeah.
But watch for those things. I'm inviting our listeners and our watchers, watch for those things. Become aware of those things. And I mean, and laugh at yourself and find yourself amusing. And
yes,
then you can make changes, right?
Absolutely. And celebrate those changes, those little wins as they come about.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Because if you don't celebrate the little wins, you need bigger and bigger and bigger wins to make yourself feel better. And your body or your saboteurs, your mind, will find ways to make you feel better. Because let's face it, we move towards pleasure and away from pain naturally.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just stopping yourself right before you want to move to that pleasure and saying, okay, what is it I'm doing right now? What triggered that change in that feeling change, your emotional change? Because if we don't deal with our emotions as they come up, if we try to push them down with food and other things, they will effervesce and keep trying to come up, and we keep trying to push them down. So you really do need to investigate your emotions and figure out what it is they need.
Yeah, that self-awareness piece is what I'm hearing is so important.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You know, and no one can do this for you. Like I've always said, oh, wouldn't it be great if I had, you know, an assistant that could walk around and, you know, just take notes. And by the way, Lorraine, like little reminders, but really no one can do this for you.
That's a good point. Yes. You have to do the work for yourself. You know, you can get mentors and have people that can give you these tips and tricks and make it easier for you. So you don't have to scour the internet and try to figure it all out for yourself. But you have to want to have it for yourself.
Yeah. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about your coaching and how people can get a hold of you and what it is how you work and what it is that you do, because we're coming close to the end of our show. So please let our guests know.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you mentioned the steps and ladders method earlier. So I'll just speak a little bit about that. So it's, as you mentioned, it is about the snakes and ladders game. And if you remember the snakes and ladders game, it was a game of chance, and you would, you know, hopefully not land on a snake, because then you had to slide back to the beginning of the game, and you hoped you would land on a ladder, because then you could climb to the next level of the game. Like you could go up faster than the other people who are playing the game with you. So in my coaching practice, I like to use that analogy because we use steps and ladders. So basically we take the board game and we just go one step at a time, so that you can see where those snakes are hiding. You see the step that the snake is going to be on, and you can avoid that snake by doing the things that you need to do to get to the ladder so that you can climb the game faster. So it's about doing it one step at a time, not trying to race to the end of the game, because then you get the snakes, right? And you slide back down to the beginning.
Yeah.
And that's why sometimes when people try these diets, they're trying to get to the end more quickly. They're trying to race to the finish line. Oh, I'll just do this. My neighbor lost 20 pounds on this particular plan, so I'm going to try it too. Well, it's not necessarily right for us. So we'll get the snake and we'll slide back down. And that brings up the feeling of, oh, I knew I couldn't do it. I've never been able to do these things in the past. This doesn't work for me. I'm, fill in the blank. I'm a loser. I'm lazy. I don't have the willpower. I don't, and we put ourselves down. So then it's harder to do the next thing that comes along because we feel so badly about ourselves. We think it's us that's causing this to happen. And really, it's not. We're not doing anything wrong. It's just a question of taking those things slowly so you have the awareness of what's actually coming up for you so you can deal with it and then get to the next step, the next phase.
I love that because it gives people permission to stay in a spot and not feel that they need to jump ahead.
Right.
Yeah. Because you might
and then it's permanent.
And you might end up on a snake's tail and down you go. And that's not helpful because then you do get all those negative saboteurs, those negative thoughts and feelings. And what do we do when those negative thoughts and feelings? We eat or we look for a dopamine hit. It's a self-fulfilling cycle. Yeah.
Right. And it's just, right now, if that's happening for you, it's a spiral that's going down. And we really want to reverse the spiral, and we want to climb back up again and get to where you're feeling good about yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think with all of the tips that our viewers and listeners and you have offered, I think our viewers have a great place to start. Just pick one and start there, and one is all it takes. And that's what I heard you say about steps and ladders is you only take one step. So just pick one, take one step. And then when you're ready, you can take another.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's just awesome. Well, I want to thank you so much for all of your wisdom and your sharing, Krista. It's been just a delight to have you here on the show. And I'm just gonna pull up for myself those 5 words so that I can remind our listeners. So for those who are listening, put in the chat. We had nourish, we had keto, we had sleep, we had vitamins, I think it was, and food. So we'll make those the 5 words. And I want to thank you for listening and being here and for all your participation, listeners and viewers as well. So that gets some of that water out in the world, that fresh water for those people that need it. And I promised you at the beginning that I would share a quiz. So if you want to know what the number 1 focus is that you can do to improve your life satisfaction score, it's number 1, pay attention and watch your cravings. But you can also take this quiz. And thank you, Roxy, for putting that link there. It's lorraine.link/best-life-quiz. So remember to drop the 5 inspirational words heard throughout the show into the chat, or you can email me at support@headheartsynergy.com with the word contest in the email so I can find it easier. And again, I want to say thank you, Krista.
It was my pleasure. Thank you, Lorraine.
Yeah. So, and I know that we'll continue this conversation because we've got so much goodness. So I am your host, Lorraine LaPointe of Head Heart Synergy, reminding you that here at the edge of fulfillment, there is always a choice. You can stay on the edge and always get what you've already got. Or you can become courageous and move just beyond the edge, one little step at a time, and get what you really want. And we'll see you here again next week.